Welcome to Now, the informative talk show that talks about everything and everybody.
Welcome to Now, NOW. I'm your host, PM Blossom, and my co-hosts are Brian Wright, Karen Hammonds, Kim Galloway, and Tony Carter. Today we have an interesting program. The topic is, wait for it, drop it like it's hot. Now, drop it like it's hot. Now, let me say something. It's not what you think it is. We're going to talk about things, people, places, and things that you need to drop it like it's hot before it harms you, before it destroys you, before destruction comes into your life. We're going to start this off with Brian Wright.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we really, or people need to drop like it's hot, and I think everybody deals with it at one point or another, but it's selfishness. Selfishness is all about me, no matter what, in marriages and relationships. This is across the board with your children or on my job. It's all about me. And so when you have that type of attitude, you're destined for destruction.
And so what are you saying? That I'm not supposed to love me? I'm not supposed to care for me?
You're supposed to love you, and you're supposed to care for you. But when you only love you and only care about you, that's when the issue comes in. It's like, it's me over anything and everybody.
So that means I'm number one.
Number one.
Number one.
Number one and the only one.
Okay. So
nobody else opinion matters.
But you know what? We all reach a position or a stage in our life where we just want to do what we want to do. True. So is that what you're talking about?
I want to do what I want to do. I want it my way. I don't know, like Frank Sinatra, I want it my way.
What do you say about that, Tony?
He exactly right, because people don't want to, how can I say, I'm kind of tongue-tied right now, but people go.
He's actually tongue-tied for real. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. People in that way, I call it, they prideful. People
full of pride.
Full of pride. You know, that was my thing. Like, people so full of pride, they don't want to say I'm sorry. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It took me a long time to be like, to say I'm sorry.
How long did it take you to learn to say I'm sorry?
It took a good 15 years.
15 years?
It took a while.
Okay, you know what? When you're talking about forgiveness, and you're talking about repenting, and you're talking about telling someone you're sorry, in between that, you have one monster, and the name of the monster is unforgiveness. Okay, this is a monster in our lives, because you know what? We learn as little kids not to forgive, to hold grudges, to be mad forever. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So as children, we learn to be angry, to have bitterness, not to forgive. Mommy, I don't like you anymore because you didn't give me the cookie. Okay? I don't like you anymore because I didn't have the party. And you're laughing.
I didn't get the bicycle.
Right. So let's talk about unforgiveness. How powerful, how destructive is unforgiveness in your life?
Well, it's
you
not,
say
it's
in
not
my life
destructive anymore, but no, like at first I didn't think I was unforgiving. I just thought I didn't fool with you no more. But then, you know.
What do you mean by didn't fool with you anymore?
You know, I don't talk to me, I don't talk to you, we good, let's keep going. But then I found out that was like unforgiveness, and so I was like, oh, okay. And I realized that when I would see you and I didn't like you, oh my goodness, like, you just get so angry, you start getting headaches, and I didn't realize that was
headache?
Yeah, like I didn't
realize. That's some unforgiveness.
Yeah, like I didn't realize it, you know. And my grandmother was telling me, she was telling me about that one day, and she was like, "You have to ask for forgiveness." And I was like, "We talking? Can we be frank?" You know, my grandmother always like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You got to be crazy because this person did this. Like, why do you know?" And then when she told me that I would come out on top, and you know, you the bigger person, I was like, oh, okay, this forgiveness thing don't work then. You know, and I would be I would be like, Pastor, would you forgive me? And, you know, if you said no or whatever, I'm like, okay, I still love you. And I keep on going. I'm like, yeah, I'm on top now. You know, like,
And that's how you learn.
It became easy.
So it became easy when someone told you you would be on top.
Yeah, like I was the win anyway. You like,
so
I won the argument. I was right all the time, even if I was wrong, because I said forgive me and I repented. So, you know, I was like, cool, we good. I can do this forgiveness thing.
You have confused me. I'm going to go to Karen because I am totally confused with that analogy. Karen, what about you?
Well, unforgiveness, it can destroy your whole life. It can destroy your marriage, your family, your job, all because you have that sense of it's owed to me and they wronged me and they did this to me.
So suppose they did. Suppose they did something horrible.
Yeah, they did. But you cannot afford. Your own personal self cannot afford.
Okay, let's not talk about the spiritual. What about, you said we can't afford it. Let's do it the natural way.
The natural.
Okay.
I'm saying because believe it or not, it could be spiritual, but it will affect your natural.
Okay.
So you cannot afford to hold on to things. Sometimes people, they might not even realize they did anything wrong to you, and you walking around with a big old badge on your chest, and you don't even, and you making yourself sick. So you have to learn that people are people. You can't raise adults. You can't do anything. You have to take people where they at. If they offend you, you know what, God, you seen what they did to me.
I just asked God to cut their nose off.
Yeah.
David, well, David went for the heads.
But you know what, I realized that I finally realized too in that time when my grandmother was teaching me about forgiveness, that when people would say, oh, that's just Brian, he like that. And I'm like, I don't care, he ain't gonna be like that with me. But then I realized that's true. But they are like that, and that's why when you see them right where they at and you leave them, you just leave them right there. You can't do nothing about it.
I think a big problem that I've been learning or noticing is that people expect people to be who they are.
Yes.
But they don't have the same upbringing as you have.
Right.
So you can't expect them to think the way you think. Number one, they're not the same as you, but they don't have the same upbringing. They don't have the same values as you do.
Exactly.
You know, so you can expect them to understand. Sometimes you just have to bring it to them. We can get all puffed up in pride and like, they don't even understand that they offended you. And you can, I can see, like, you can go to them and tell them, like, you offended me. If you would tell them, you would be surprised at some people. That was not my intention.
Right.
Have you ever went and told someone, you offended me, you made me mad, you did something to me?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Well,
I
mean,
never do. I don't. I really don't. Because
What about
sometimes
you,
it's
Brian?
just, I don't know.
Well, you have to, like, even in my marriage, I that offended me.
But marriage is different. I'm talking about outside of marriage. Marriage, you got to go and tell them.
you had to tell them, like, I didn't appreciate
I appreciate the way you handled it.
I didn't appreciate that.
I just had that happen to me not too long ago with a friend of mine.
And
You know, he was going through something, and you know, I'm calling him, he's not answering, and it offended me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because what you going through, maybe I could help, or maybe I could just be a person that you can talk to and lean on. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't need to know your problem, but we got too much history, so
Okay.
I understand about that.
What about you, Ken?
It would have to be really, really devastating. Because like I said, people sometimes, I mean, especially in the world we live in now, people are just all over the place. So they might not genuinely know
Like Brian
they
said.
offended. And so it would have to be something really just devastated where I'm just to the point where I'm just broken off.
You must.
I have to let you
Okay,
know.
Brian, you was talking about marriage. How do you tell your wife, you have offended me?
When you're dealing with your spouse, a lot of times we don't understand about communication and about communicating your vulnerability. So we may come off nasty right back. So now you got a stalemate and ain't nothing happening in the house. It's going down here. You have to come to them and be honest and open. It's like, you offended me when you did that. So a lot of times,
Well, hold on. When you do that, you're showing vulnerability.
Yes.
You're showing weakness.
Yes.
Okay, and you're showing your feelings.
Yes.
You willing to do that?
I'm willing to do that. I've matured that I'm willing to do that. Before I just, snap out or whatever the case may be, or lash out or, like, got to get even. You know what I'm saying? Like Kim would say.
We do know you guys are related.
Yes.
Okay, so I need to ask this question. I'm going to ask Kim. In marriage, do you ever get revenge?
Not anymore.
Not
Not anymore.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay, so how do you get revenge? Audience, listen very carefully. You might need this.
You know what? It depends on the situation. Like, let's think about me. I cannot stand to be hot.
Okay.
But my husband, he gets cold easily. So I'm like, let's turn on the air. And he's like, it's too soon to turn on the air. I'm like, dude, it's hot. I'm sweating. And so then, finally he'll say, okay, well, let's just turn on the air, forget it. So he had to leave and go get his sister, so I turned on the air. So normally in his mind, I guess he thinking the air gonna be like on 70, but we talking about me. So he ain't let me turn on the air, so I turned the air to like 61. So when he came through the door, he like, what in the world? So it was like real cold. And I was like, look, you give me a rope, I want to be a cowgirl. So we just gonna go with the flow. But I mean, that was just being funny. But yeah, I don't do revenge anymore. It's such a waste of time.
Okay.
It really is. It's because then I got to think about it, and I'm not in the mood for that. So, I mean, when I was
You have
younger,
to think about revenge?
Yeah, when I was younger, revenge was good. But, when you get old, you like, that's too much time. You realize, like, you wasting time. I can't. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
what
too
about
much.
you, Tony?
I don't do revenge. I just can't. I just can't do that. I can't,
Now, I will, Tony, I can't do the revenge thing.
because then somebody do it to you. Then you know what I'm saying. I just don't do the revenge
But
thing.
I think we all do revenge unknowingly.
That's the key.
Maybe.
Okay.
That's the key.
You see what I'm saying?
It's no point in a
Unknowingly.
response to an offense that was done unto you. And so now you withholding or whatever. It goes through many different ways. Like, your spouse will want you to take out the garbage. You ticked off. I'm not taking the garbage.
I'm not taking the garbage out.
That's
today.
that's another form of revenge.
That's
or,
revenge.
Or if you normally
See?
if you normally cook for your husband, he tick you off. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? See, or you normally when you get up in the
I'm going
morning.
to cook.
Yeah, you're
But
not
I'm
gonna
going to cook something you don't like.
You don't like. It's revenge. or you get up in the morning if you're a person that kisses your spouse before you leave and tell them you love them. Now you ticked off, so ain't none of that. It's all different forms
So
of revenge.
it comes from unforgiveness. You did this to me.
Yeah.
I have not forgiven you.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
so I must get you back.
Yeah.
What about you, Karen?
Or it's like you said, sometimes it's just you don't even think like I'm getting you.
Or be nice to me, I'll be nice to you.
Yeah.
Don't be nice to me, I will not be nice to you. Well, it looks like to me that's second nature to some of you.
Yeah.
Kim?
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Let me go to the book of Mark, and I'm gonna. This is the scripture that made me realize years and years and years ago that I want to forgive everything and
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Mark, listen to this. The 11th chapter, the 23rd verse. It says, "For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, he shall believe that these things which he saith shall come to pass. He shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. And when you stand praying," listen to this, "when you stand praying, forgive, if you have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses." Then it goes on to say, "But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespasses." That was it for me. It was a done. After I read that, I'm thinking, I want God to forgive everything I ever do, past, present, and future. So if I want God to forgive everything that I do, past, present, and future, that I must train myself.
Yes.
Yeah, and when I say train myself, that means I have to push myself, talk to myself, pray about it. I got to do anything and everything I can do to help me forgive someone else. Does that sound?
Yes.
Yeah, when
And
you
it's not
start praying
always-
about that, it's crazy because when I was praying about forgiveness, you know, people used to always say, watch what you pray for because you're going to get that,
Yes.
you know. And so I would pray, like, Lord, help me, like, teach me to forgive. Like, because, you know, like I said, I would get so angry, like, enraged. And then stuff just started happening. I'm like, why? And my grandmother was like, that's teaching you to forgive. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. And that, literally, that's how I learned.
What about you, Karen?
Yeah,
See, this is spooky.
It is, and you have to, like you said, you have to push yourself. You have to make yourself. You gotta really see God and be like, God, oh my God.
For those of you in our audience, I know most of you in our viewing audience, you have way more God in you than I do. Okay, but I'm just going to be truthful. I had to train myself to forgive. I had to talk to myself to help me forgive. I had to pray about me forgiving. And so I begin to think, what kind of person am I?
Yeah.
I mean, I must be a terrible, terrible person. Well, let me say something. That's the only way you're going to forgive.
That's it.
That's the only way you're going to forgive over and over. Because you must admit, you got people that continue to do things to
Yes,
you.
they
Yeah.
they-
Okay, you got people that will do things to you every time they see you.
Right.
Okay, so forgiveness is one of the things, and I hate to say it this way, that you must, before, when you're getting into it with someone, drop your anger like it's hot.
Yes.
Drop your bitterness like it's hot.
Yes.
Drop your unforgiveness like it's hot. It is not worth it.
It's essential. It's essential. If you look even in our streets, a lot of the killings that's going on is because of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness and bitterness, and it mounts,
Okay.
and then bang, somebody kills somebody, and it just goes down the hill. But if we have forgiveness, if we learn to forgive at a young age or even at an older age, we'll
Okay.
be better for it.
You said a young age. As a child, Tony, did you forgive? Do you, let me rephrase it. Do you remember the things that adults did to you as a child?
Yeah, and I remember, but I was always under the act that do unto others or you will have them do unto you. That's how it was. So I would want you to treat me better, so I treat you better. So I have to forgive you in order to be like that. You know?
Okay, so when you were treating people badly, were you treating people badly because they were treating you badly?
Not all the time.
But why were you treating? No, this is a valid question.
How they say the
It
product
is.
of your environment, when you out there in the streets, it's like that's the code that you living up under. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little different.
Okay, but,
Your ideology is a little different then.
okay, all right. Well, what about you, Ken? Did you just? The question, maybe I'm not phased. Maybe I'm not saying it correctly. Have you ever intentionally treated someone badly?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I have.
I mean, I'm sure I have. I really don't know. I mean, to be honest, well, you know what? In my mind, I think I did it because of something they did to me. I don't, you know, I would have to say, you know, being who I am now, I would just say yeah, because I have. But, you know, back then I would think, well, they did something to me, so I did something to them. Like, it's cool.
What about you?
Definitely when I was younger, before, you know, I accepted Christ and all the teachers and everything in the Word. When I was younger, you know, I wouldn't do anything to hurt anybody, but, you know, if they call and say,
Wait a minute. When you said
I wouldn't do anything to like harm anybody physically. No, none of that.
But let me ask you a question. Is physical harm less than emotional harm, or is emotional harm greater than physical harm?
I think
I'd rather you hurt me physically.
I
than
think
emotional
yeah.
is more because that stick with you longer.
Yeah.
Because the hurt, the pain, you can get over that, but when it's in you, when that hurt is in you, it stick with you for
Okay, so sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt
It's
me.
a
That's
lie.
a lie.
It's a lie.
That's a
It's a
lie.
lie.
Yes, it
So
is.
most of your unforgiveness comes from words.
Yes.
It comes from the actions and the emotions of other people, right?
Yep.
So when you said you never, in other words, you never knifed anyone, you never gunned anyone, you never punched,
My tongue, my mouth.
but your
Things
tongue
I
is a
say.
deadly weapon.
Deadly weapon.
That cut worse than a knife.
It cuts worse than a knife.
Cut deep.
How deep?
Real deep.
So,
And you know what? No, I'm gonna leave that alone.
No, let's hear it.
No, because a lot of times men can say things, it don't cut as deep. But when a woman,
I don't think I want you to go there. Go ahead.
but when
Three
a woman,
against two.
because it's something in the men, unless I really got it in for you, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if men have the information to go
No,
deep.
men don't have the dagger to the heart.
Right.
The men
Exactly.
don't have the dagger
Exactly.
to the heart. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
But women, as I always tell people, like, if a man said some of the things that a woman would say, somebody would be badly beaten or be dead. You know, but
'Cause women-
yeah, they go for the jugular.
yeah.
They go for the jugular. There's no playing around. There's no playing around.
Is it telling the truth?
It is true. It's so true.
It is so.
It is so.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I'm kind of at a loss for words here. But you know what I think? I think that men don't have the dagger to the heart the way women have. Okay, because women know exactly what to say at the exact time to say it. Okay, but men hurt in a different manner.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay, what manner do they hurt in?
I mean, I think it is. It's
I'm not turning to Tony. I'm still at you.
like Sister Karen said, it's still emotions, but it don't run as deep, I believe, you know, because it's something in men where they know, like, that line you don't cross, and a lot of times they won't cross it. Most men, not all men.
Okay, if I say this to my wife, she may divorce me.
Well, in that case, if you speak it in a relationship term, with some men, they will go for the heart.
Okay.
I mean, you know, but me personally, I don't do it. I don't do it, and I don't believe in saying anything that I can't take back. You know, so I'm not gonna go that far and say something. I will remove myself from the
Okay.
situation before I go to that point.
I think men act out their unforgiveness, most men,
Yeah.
with the silent treatment.
Throw tantrums.
Yeah,
It's-
the tantrums and the silent treatment. This is my bell audience when I really hit it. And Brother Tony says I really hit it.
If you just describe me to a T, I go
The
0
silent-
dark 30. Silent.
The silent
Silent
treatment.
treatment.
Okay. But let me ask you a question. Is the silent treatment because you're so angry and unforgiving, or the silent treatment because you don't know what to say?
I think. Oh,
Go ahead. No, for me, it's a little bit of both. You don't want to say the wrong thing, but you don't want to say nothing to get this situation to another level.
But
and it's
go ahead.
and the man is hurt. That's another aspect of it. But as men are prideful, so we don't. A lot of times we don't, which we should, communicate out our vulnerability to say, "You hurt me," so they shut down.
Okay, so you automatically shut up. You zip your lip.
If I see it's going there, I just like you said, remove yourself from the situation. I shut down. I remove myself. Then I try to come back, and then let's see how this
But
goes.
when you shut down and remove yourself, do you still have unforgiveness? Have you forgiven the person? Because shutting down and removing yourself with unforgiveness,
See, I don't go for long. It's just like I need to just get away from the situation at that moment. Then I'm coming right back to it.
Okay, so would you say that shutting down is dropping it like it's hot, dropping my anger like it's hot? Okay, because you do have to drop anger right away before it goes into something else. It goes into bitterness, it goes into unforgiveness, it goes into rage, it goes into murder. Okay, so when you shut down, is that your way of dropping that like it's hot.
Yeah, that's my way. Just getting out the situation. Let me go woosah. I come back. Now let's talk about it. Then if it's still hot, we really got to separate for a minute, and then come back. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's get this.
Okay, but when you come back, are you really coming back to talk about it?
Yeah, because it got to be. It has to be talked about. We cannot stay at this level because it's gonna get worse and worse and worse.
Emotions buried alive is still alive. So it won't get better until that's a mature man being able to come back and talk about what's.
Audience, we're still talking about unforgiveness. We've gone here, and everywhere, but it still boils down to unforgiveness. One more question, and we only have about 5 minutes. What is it on the earth that when it comes towards you, you would drop it immediately like it's hot? Karen, he can't answer.
Temptation. I mean, something that's gonna harm me. Somebody trying to hurt me.
Okay, that's pretty broad. Let's zero it in a little bit here.
I mean, temptation is. I mean, we got all kind of things. We got influences all in the earth realm.
Okay, so
now.
you what about you, Brian?
I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I mean, like anything that's going to derail you, to stop you from achieving what you're trying to achieve. Anything that's going to hurt your family. I know it's pretty broad, but it's like you have
boundaries.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Okay. We're out of time. We're out of time. Saved by the bell. Saved by the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, I thank you for listening to Now, N-O-W.
True. Thank you for tuning in to Now. Now is a production of In Between Amens. PM Blossom, executive producer. Co-host, Karen Hammonds, Kim Galloway, Tony Carter, and Bryant Wright. Now is a production of In Between Amens in partnership with World Outreach Conference Center for East 111th Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60628. 773-264-2588.